Hey everybody, happy March Madness. For those of you following along, we're down to the Sweet 16. I know my brackets are a mess, but hopefully yours are doing well, and hopefully your team made it in to the big dance and is advancing. So we're excited to go through the Sweet 16. We know it's slated here for this coming week and weekend, and 16 great teams made it this far on the road to the Final Four. And what we're here to do today is to talk through not just their rankings and which divisions they're coming from, but I think more importantly, might it cost a family like yours or a sample family we're going to use to go here? How do schools award financial aid and scholarships at these different schools? So we took went ahead and put in a couple of parameters for a family that's an Ohio family based. To determine if they're in state or out of state. So we looked at the family finances, which is going to determine your eligibility for need-based aid by tallying up your student aid index. So main things they're looking at are income and non-retirement assets. So if we look at a combined household income of 225,000, 50,000 in cash and checking savings, and then another 125,000 in non-retirement investments, and that includes 529s for the student that's heading off to college. They also have some home equity. That 300,000, if you look at the student aid index that these main components produce, around 56,000 using the fifth federal method, and anywhere from 38,300 to 53,100 using the institutional method, which is the schools that require the CSS profile. Now that variance is the home equity. Some schools look at it just like any other resource. Other schools have thrown it out of their formulas. So being aware of that is key. And then the student bio is going to determine scholarships for those schools that do offer them. So talented student, nearly perfect GPA and some weighted classes with APs and those kind of things. And then great test scores, 32 ACT, 1430 on the SAT. So now that we know that, we take our Sweet 16 and we're going to look at them a little bit differently, not by their rankings, but first we look at what's the cost of attendance. So what's the lowest cost of attendance? Came in at Iowa State. And then if you look down to the bottom, to Duke, they're going to be the highest sticker price. Now, one of the things you'll hear me say often is the sticker price of college really has become irrelevant. And we'll illuminate that for most of these schools, how that's going to shake out. So if we look at, the cost of attendance, but if we really want to understand is what would we pay out of pocket, be that given some need-based aid or scholarships. So re-scrambling the list, looking to the far right, the net cost is what we're focused on. So University of Nebraska comes in at number one. Proud, born and raised in Lincoln until I was 15. So it was great to see them make it into the tournament, and then now to get a win, and then also get to the Sweet 16 has been pretty great for Nebraska fans out there. So go Huskers! But that difference, cost of attendance of 50 down to 30. Where did that discount come from? And then you look at other schools where the sticker price was 59,000 in Alabama. How did it get down to pretty much the same out-of-pocket price? So you're starting to see like how these schools, especially those top three, Iowa State coming in there, they're all going to get priced out. So your out-of-pocket is very similar. And then it jumps into another band, and you see a school like St. John's, 83,000 is the cost, but how the heck did it get down? It's only going to cost 43, right? And then going down to the bottom, what's going on with the schools that you're just paying sticker price at Illinois, Texas, and Michigan? There is no discounts been offered. So, but then you look a step above that, and you got Duke, that was by far the highest price school, coming in at nearly half price. So what we do is we break down and help understand, okay, what's the cost? What's the student aid index? What's the need eligibility? And probably more importantly, what are the grants you will receive? Because that's free money that will reduce your cost. Just because a school you qualify for need-based aid doesn't mean they have it to give to you, and it also doesn't mean that they have it to give to you in the form of grants. So, looking at these schools, you can see big scholarship opportunities, and many of them. St. John's jumps off because it's $40,000 discount, but all these schools, like I said, they're really kind of stacking up next to each other to get to a similar. A lot of times, a similar out-of-pocket cost for you with these really nice scholarships coming in. So when we look at these, we want to understand, hey, at Duke, they met, but like, how's it 47,000, but they only gave me, I qualify for 27, they only gave me 5 here. Well, it's a function of, in these schools that qualify, your out-of-state state schools, they're not giving us anything. Why is that? Well, when we look at peeling back the layer of the onion a little further to start to look at a school like Duke, an elite private, they use the institutional method, 7% admit rate. But the institutional method they use, that $100,000 price tag, they meet 100% of need. So don't rule a school like Duke out that meets a high percentage of need if you're a lower income family. It's all about what will you pay, because they meet 100% of need, and most all of that is in grants, but essentially they don't have any scholarships. So you could be the best and the brightest. Like we've got a very bright student there, but at Duke, very few people go to scholarships. Really, around 1%. There's a few full rides that they get, but for the most part, there's no scholarships there. And if we contrast that to a school like Alabama, they've said we really want to attract students that have those kind of academic profiles because guess what? Yep, they want to raise some of their rankings and raise their profiles and have better rates of graduation, all that stuff. But they use the federal method, so they're just their cost 60,000 around there. But as we saw, they do really good with scholarships. Their percentage of need getting non-need merit close to 37%. So they really do a great job. When with our talented student, the average is 19, but they got 28,000 just on a grid. If you do this, you'll get this. So that 32 with over a 3.5 at Alabama this year gets you a $28,000 scholarship. So essentially making it the same price as your in-state school, and that was the goal all along. And then we take another out-of-state state school, technically in Michigan, but the way they run their business is a little different. They do use an institutional method to calculate things, which changes a few things. But what it does for this family and what we want to understand is if we have need, do they meet it? And they don't. And for out-of-state students, they don't give any need-based financial aid. So it's all potentially scholarships, but they're not very transparent about it. If you do get a scholarship at Michigan, it's minimal. It's $2,000 to $5,000 is kind of what you get. So it doesn't make a big bite out of the apple. So when we're looking at all these schools on a side by side, I think the key that we try to drive home is look at 1 year, but don't get intoxicated by a $40,000 scholarship if a school is still going to cost you $40,000 or $50,000 and you can't afford it. And at the end of the day, we look at what is it going to cost us. The key here is if we know this going in, we know with our discounts and we extrapolate things over 4 years, we've got some really nice discounts and we have some affordable option, 130,000 affordable. But we got schools that nearly triple that at Michigan coming in at 362, our highest priced school on the list. So again, understanding what will it cost us out of pocket is the key, and don't necessarily rule schools out. Understand which ones give great scholarships, and if you're a need-based candidate, which ones would meet your need that way. So I think that's really the key. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the tournament. Through the Final Four, we'll be back with a little update and zoom in on whoever makes it to the Final Four.